this video we're going to be talking about recovering and the components that we use to recover refrigerant from air conditioning and refrigeration systems. The first thing we're going to talk about is the recovery tank. One thing we notice about the recovery tank that it is color coded. The bottoms will always be gray and the tops and the handles will be yellow. No matter what type of tank it is, if it's colored like this here, it's a recovery cylinder. A couple things that we have to look at that technicians must know about these tanks. Number one, it is actually certified through the Department of Transportation. So you will see a dot stamp on it and a code number and a serial number. So within that, we know that this can be traced back to the manufacturer who actually purchased it, what refrigerant has in it. A couple other things you may see is here is the date code. Every 5 years, these cylinders have to be recertified, must be tested to make sure it's still safe. Some of the things they look for is these valves. Make sure it's not leaking, it's not any issues with it. Plus, it actually will have a, what do you call a pressure relief on it. If the pressure is too high in it, it would actually blow to relieve the pressure to keep from causing harm. One thing that causes harm the quickest is overfilling the tank. One thing we never do go over 80%. And because of that, some tanks will actually have a float inside of it that will stop you from filling it from a recovery machine. The second thing, which is most important, is to have this information about how much refrigerant or how much this tank can hold. It gives you two different weights, a tare weight and basically a gross weight, and a water weight, something they call a WC. This tank here can hold up to 47.7 pounds of fluid, 47. However, it also gives you the weight of the tank in pounds. This tank weighs 29 pounds empty. It's really heavy gauge. It's heavy metal, it's pretty thick, to protect from problems of bursting and things like that. So it's a very, very strong tank. It's welded, got a pressure relief on it, and it has two valves. If we look closely, it has a blue valve and a red valve. This blue valve is for vapor, and the red valve is for liquid. However, always verify it because some manufacturers, depending where it's manufactured, may be reversed. They may have the colors different. So always, please, always check because it can be different. Now, the liquid, what makes it a liquid valve is that it has a dip tube on the inside that goes all the way to the bottom. So when you take a refrigerant out of it, it will take the refrigerant from the bottom. The vapor side is just basically taking it from the very top. So since we're only filling it up 80%, the top portion of it will be nothing but vapor. So to get vapor refrigerant out, the refrigerant in the liquid state is boiling off and turning into a vapor as you relieve the pressure off of it. So one thing that we did, we marked this tank here. We only use refrigerant 404. We cannot mix refrigerant. It must be only one type of refrigerant in it. And to make it easy, instead of mixing us, if you want to put a different refrigerant, you got to make sure everything's out of it, evacuate the tank, and then you can put something else into it. We do not mix refrigerant. It's against EPA regulation 608 to mix refrigerant. The second thing I was going to show is a scale. This is a digital scale, and it's kind of neat because years ago, before we started using digital scales, we had something like a UPS scale, or a scale that you sit on and weigh yourself. But these are more accurate, and what's the neat thing about it, it comes out of this case. As long as it's sitting on a flat surface, you can put this someplace. You can actually hang it off something that is hanging, or you could set it to the side. But as long as it's on a flat, solid surface, you'll be able to read the pressure. Here what you would do, you will turn it on, and you got a choice. It goes through a calibration. Right now it's reading kilograms. But if I hit the units, it would change. It changed to pounds and ounces. If I hit it again, it's pounds. So it could go, instead of reading ounces, it could give you a fraction or a decimal of a pound, like 0.135 pounds. It could read up to 1,000th of a pound. But typically what we do is read in pounds and ounces, the easiest thing to figure out. Okay? Now, I got it set as reading 0, 0, 0 pounds, 0 ounces. I'm going to take this tank, I'm going to go put it on. I'm going to center it, make sure it's balanced. And I read 41 pounds, 13.4 ounces. 41 pounds, 13.4 ounces. Now, if I want to add more refrigerant to it, I have to write this number down, and I can add or subtract the difference if I'm taking refrigerant out or adding refrigerant to the tank. But this one nice feature this scale has, I can zero it out. It went back to 0. Now, if I add a new refrigerant to it, it's going to read that new refrigerant. Not what's inside the tank, but the difference. So now I can keep from changing or writing things down.